Right. Ivoan, Vanakkam, good evening, bonsoir. We warmly welcome all the participants for this Zoom video conference, which is organized by the Sri Lankan Association of Past Students in France in collaboration with the Alliance Française de Kotte, the official French language and cultural center in Colombo. Today, the topic is on the historical records of Jaffna Bishop's House from 1850 to 1930. We have two speakers, Dr. Appasamy Murugaiyan from Paris and Dr. Gérard Robuchon from the Alliance Française de Jaffna. This virtual session is open for all and is a free event, but we can only accept 100 participants, so please bear with us. To commence the session officially, I cordially invite our president, Mrs. Shevanthi Samaravira, to deliver the welcome speech.
Good evening, everybody. I warmly welcome all of you for our information session. Today, our theme is digital preservation of the manuscripts of Jaffna Bishop's House in the period of 1850 to 1930. So this is initiated by Professor Saratha Munugama, Professor Emeritus, who got resource personnel to carry out our program. So first of all, this project is being carried out by Dr. Appasamy Murugaiyan of Ecole Pratique des Hautes Etudes and Dr. Gérard Robuchon, Director Alliance Française de Jaffna and former French lecturer in the Modern Languages Department of the University of California. So I first of all welcome both of you.
Thank you.
This evening, in spite of your busy schedule, Dr. Appasamy Murugaiyan and Dr. Gérard Robuchon accepted Professor Munugama's request. So I warmly welcome you too, and also Professor Saratha Munugama. So this session is organized by past students who had their education in France. That's ASLAEF. We proudly present this with the collaboration of Alliance Française de Colombo. So by participating in this virtual session, you'll be able to broaden your history, knowledge of Sri Lanka. Then is the ambassador present? I would like to recognize the presence of Monsieur, His Excellency Monsieur Eric Lavertu, the ambassador of France in Sri Lanka and in Maldives. So then I would like to welcome the executive committee members who gave me the fullest support and wish to recognize the efforts of Dilanti and Charitha. Then I welcome all the members of the association and all the participants who are present here today in spite of your tight schedules to make this event a success. Hope you will get the best out of it.
Right. Thank you very much, Madam. Now we move on to the session. To start with, we would like to provide a brief introduction to our two speakers. Let me start with Dr. Murugaiyan. So Dr. A. Murugaiyan is a researcher attached to the National Center for Scientific Research and School of Advanced Studies in Paris. He also served as a consultant for UNESCO on mother tongue education and bilingualism. He has published and edited several books and published widely in international journals and chapters in books on modern and historical Tamil linguistics and epigraphy. And moving on to our second speaker, Dr. Gérard Robuchon, the director of Alliance Française de Jaffna, and he was a former lecturer in French at the University of California. So this project on digital preservation of the manuscripts of the Jaffna Bishop House was financed by the Endangered Archives Program of the British Library, London, and it is undertaken jointly by the research unit Monde Iranien et Indien, Paris, France, as well as the Alliance Française de Jaffna, with the patronage of Bishop House of Jaffna, Sri Lanka. So this project work is being carried out by Dr. Appasamy Murugaiyan and Dr. Gérard Robuchon. So that's why they are going to present their project results today. So now we cordially invite the speakers to commence the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Liyanage, some of my friends from India, they say they are not admitted. They've been trying to connect.
Let me see. Yes, yeah.
Oh, please. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll start.
Yeah, I think, yes, Mr. Murugaiyan, you can go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you. Thank you. Thanks to the organizers. I want to thank, first of all, our friend, Professor Amangama, who gave this idea of presenting this project, because he knew the project right from the inception, and also he was there giving us some technical advices on how to go on for digital photographing and all. And even he suggested, when he was the Vice Chancellor of the University of Kalenia, that he could provide also technical assistance from his preservation department. Anyway, I'm really thankful. We are, Gérard and myself, we are thankful to him. And also, let me thank also Sri Lankan Association of Past Students in France, who are hosting this lecture, and also to the Alliance Française de Kotte. Thanks also to the organizers, Ms.Charitha Liyanage and Ms.Charitha Samavir. Okay, this is a good opportunity for us to make you know, at least share with you all what we have been doing the last 5 years in Jaffna. I think it was in 2013 or 14, during one of his visits to Paris, Gérard Robuchon asked me, talked about this manuscripts which are kept in the Bishop's House of Jaffna, and he was really showing much interest, and also asked me, we should, however, preserve this. Is there any means to do that work? Unfortunately, that year I heard about the endangered archive programs funding and other things through one of my colleagues, and also Zoe Hidley. She had a project in India, and she said, advised me and also encouraged me to apply for that. So that is the commencement. So all of a sudden, like any project, only they start from 2 individuals or 3 individuals who have same idea. My idea of preservation is that, however, if we can preserve documents, monument materials, heritage materials, whether it's inscription or manuscripts or pictures or even soundtracks, we should do that, because it's one of the most important things that what any researcher can do for his field, not only for his original field, and also for the humanity. So this way, Gérard and myself, we collaborated, and also we planned how to do this work and all. And this is how it started. So first of all, slide. Yeah. Yeah, first of all, let me say a few words of thanks and gratitude to the Endangered Archive Program. As you told, this program is financed by the prestigious Endangered Archive Program under British Library, London, United Kingdom. And also, where I must also thank my institution, who said, okay, you can take up this project, and if we can do something to preserve, why not? Because it's part of our work. And also, as you said, Gérard and myself, we are in the origin, and also we continue this work, partly from my institution, because I cannot be there in Jaffna every time. So according to the project, whenever we need it, I could go to Jaffna 1 or 2 times a year and see what's happening. And remotely, we used to control everything, how the photographs have been done, what we could do. Everything has been done with the collaboration of Gérard Robuchon. Gérard Robuchon is a very good administrator, and also you can rely on him for everything. So I thank him also for his collaboration, even though he's part of this project. So I must thank also, according to the Endangered Archive Program, I have given the link here. You can also check, and even if you are interested on your own way to do some digital preservation of any of the archives in your country or in your university, in your place, you can go and see the link and also find out whether there are possibilities for you. So according to the Endangered Archive Program website, the Endangered Archive Program facilitates the digitization of archives around the world and that are in danger of destruction, neglect, or physical deterioration. That's the definition given by them, and that is true also. And also, thanks to the generous funding from Arcadia, a charitable fund of Elizabeth Rousing and Peter Baldwin. So they have money and they give this. We must be thankful, and we are thankful to them for the generous and also thoughtful idea of preserving documents and heritage material in other places. You know how it is difficult, like in countries like India, Nepal, or Sri Lanka, to preserve our own heritage, family manuscripts, and even manuscripts of all sorts. So this is a welcome idea. And also EAP has provided grants to more than 400 projects in 90 countries worldwide in over 100 languages and scripts. So this is very rich. If you have time, I just invite you to go and see the website. It's really great. I don't know, just a word to thank them. Thanks to them is not sufficient. I have problems with, yeah. So the Endangered Archives program, just to introduce you and also present their philosophy, seeks to preserve cultural heritage and make it available to as wide an audience as possible. So this is one of the most important things. This preservation is done not only to preserve and also to make it available to others who would be interested in studying, doing research. And this is very important. And also, since we have started this project, there are many people, researchers from England, United States, even Jaffna, they wanted to check these documents and reuse also for their own research work. So according to the EAP, archives refers to materials in written, pictorial, or audio formats, including manuscripts, rare printed books, documents, newspapers, periodicals, photographs, and sound recordings. So this gives you an idea of what kind of heritage materials could be preserved under the EAP project. And also, even if you have different type of heritage material, you can write to them. This EAP team is a very, very friendly and also professional team. They provide you with so many kind of advice, technical and also all kind of advice that one need to undertake. And also, even when you write your project, they are really helpful to present the project. So since 2004, the EAP program has digitized over 8 million images. Can you imagine 8 million images and 25,000 soundtracks? So this is not meant only for preserving written material, and also this is meant also for record element, songs and other things. Tracks, archive types digitized so far include rare printed sources, manuscripts, visual materials, and audio recordings. I know even one of my colleagues from India also has presented a project on preserving historical irrigation system which are found in the inscriptions. Okay, so when you work with EAP, there are three basic philosophies of the EAP which are very, very important to know. The preservation, as I've been telling you, is one of the major work that EAP is encouraging us to do. And second thing is, no heritage material should leave the country. It should be done in situ, so that you cannot take the manuscript from Sri Lanka to France, or a manuscript from India to France or any other place. That should be done in the country of the origin, and it should be left in the country of origin, so that the heritage material will be remaining the property of the country and also property of the owner. I'll come to that. Third, the most important is that each project should train local technicians, so that you take 3 people or 4 people according to the project, and you have to train them and you have to give them some professional training. This is very important. And also this is part of the what you call kind of intellectual property that's being preserved by university researchers and also other authorities. Yeah, let's come to Gérard. If you want to say anything, you just let me know.
Yeah.
I will, yeah, I'll present the PowerPoint, and when it comes to the discussion, we both will be giving, answering your questions and also participate in the discussion. The manuscripts, coming to the manuscript in the Bishop's House of Jaffna, they are all kept in they were all kept, and also they are still kept in the Bishop's House of Jaffna. They consist of different kind of documents: memoir, chronicles, and accountancy books, correspondence between Catholic missionaries, pamphlets, circulars, and pastoral letters, and also few printed documents. This is just to show you, give you some images of how it was kept. As I told you, only when you visit places like India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and even some of our old libraries in France are like this. Because not that people are not interested, but they have done, I must say, the Bishop's House of Jaffna and also the representatives of Jaffna Bishop's House, they have done a great work with great interest, with minimum facilities they have. And when you look into the archives kept by them, they are kept in such a way that that should not be spoiled further. Yeah, that's what we can say. So you see how they are. Only when you visit the places like a Bishop's House and also other places, you will see, wow, it's great. They could have done better. Okay, thank God. But anyway, they have preserved so much, that's too much. When you look into the local conditions, you see here, these are some of the images. So once you, the digitization work and also the project by Endangered Archive Program has so many rules and regulations. You cannot do anything on your own way. First of all, there are so many technical details that could be respected. Otherwise, they will not accept your images. They will not accept your project. That's the first thing. So whenever, probably you all know how the books are kept in our libraries, whether it's in a municipal library in a small town or in a small village, even the university. I have visited so many university libraries, all the libraries except those sections where people used to go regularly. Other places are like this because nobody goes there and we have not much financial assistance to keep them clear. So that's the thing. So once you get, once you look into the type of manuscripts you want to digitize, first thing we have to do is cleaning, to clean up them. And also that's part of our training that we give to our young, what do you call, trainees. You have to handle them with much of care because most of the books, most of the documents are 200 years old, 250 years old. They are very fragile. So you should be very careful when you handle them. Once you do that, we have so many instruments to clean the papers and also so many ways of cleaning the papers, documents, whether it's a book, printed book, how to do that. We have instructions from British Library, and also by doing this work, you become yourself master of the techniques. So these are all put in what you call kind of havoc system. But once you have this, you have to then classify them according to different kind of what you call classification methods, because there is no any universal classification method. Only when you look into the document that you are going to digitize, preserve, then only you will see how many different types of materials are there, how to classify them. That's more important. So the documents we have in the bishops' house of Jaffna, they range from 1750 to 950. That is 200 years, 2 centuries. They cover the period of the French missionaries in Jaffna diocese, and also you will be knowing much about even people like me who are not very much accustomed to the history of missionaries in Jaffna and other places. That gives you a good idea of what these missionaries have done, and also how the work has been organized very, very meticulously. So the OMI, probably most of you have heard about that. These are two important institutions, and also they are written mainly in 3 languages: French, Tamil, and English. And also we notice some of them in Latin, Portuguese, and Sinhala languages also. So these manuscripts are of great importance. That's one thing I must insist, and also I will insist. They are very, very important for anybody who is interested in the cultural, economic history of pre-colonial Sri Lanka. And also, if you want to know anything about the northern part of Sri Lanka, I talk about northern part of Sri Lanka because these manuscripts are mostly written and preserved about and also by the people in that area. Anything, you want to know anything about that period, education, marriage, birth, and also disease, cultural functions, and also preservation of other things. Everything you want to know, you have information in this manuscripts. I must say, yeah, I'm proud to say this. Thanks to Gérard and also the team. I think somewhere I missed to thank also the governing body of Alliance Française, the Jaffna, who allowed us, encouraged us to take this project. And also, yeah, I'm sorry. I must have thanked in the initial phase. Okay, anyway, thanks also to the team. Now we are in the 3rd project. I will come to that later. The first 1-year pilot project. Every time you go for a project, they British Library Endangered Archive project request you to take 1-year pilot project to see whether the project you have undertaken is feasible, whether it is worth, and how we can carry out the project, whether we are technically well placed to carry out the project or not. This is the most important phase. So when we started this project in 2015, just 1 year after, I met with Gérard in Paris, where he was talking about these archives with much sorrow and sadness. We worked with so many people. Anyway, thank God we got this project. So the first year project started in March 2015. Now we are accomplishing our 3rd project. That means first project was duration was only 1 year, and second project was for 2 years, and third one I think this will be the last. Third one is we started only last year, but unfortunately because of COVID and other problems, the work, as you know, has been slowed down. But anyway, we have totally 5 years project. So we are now on 4th year. Yeah, this is again and again, I think we are really thankful to the Endangered Archive program for their financial support. As I said, not only financial support comes from EAP, but whenever you need some technical advice, whenever your photograph is not well done, whenever the spreadsheet is not completely done, they take their time, and there is a team, very good team. So many people are working there, some working on the photograph, some working on the classification. Some people will be giving advice on spreadsheet manufacturing and everything. So they are very friendly, and they encourage you to do this work in a well organized manner. But one thing is very sure, whenever a picture is not in good quality, they refuse. So you have to do it again and again. So until the picture and also the technical details are satisfactorily present, they won't let you. So that's more important. Yeah, I cannot show you here now, but anyway, when you have time, I will give you the website address link. You can go and see all the materials that have been preserved by the British project EAP, and you can also check them. You can also download them as a PDF format according to your needs. So that's done very clearly, and also that's a very practical website. The idea is that not only preservation for the sake of preservation, as I told you, the idea is that these preserved materials should be useful for people who are doing research in all areas like social anthropology, history, sociology, economics, religion, everything. Yeah, I think, yeah, this is again and again. You will be, I'm sorry, I will be repeating this. Thanks to all those people, because I know how it was difficult in the initial stage to start this project and also continue. We never thought that we would go for a second project. Thank God, thanks to the team and thanks to Gerard, we got a second project, and also now we are doing the third project, because we were convinced, Gérard and myself, we were convinced that these documents are very important and they should be preserved. Because if we don't do the preservation work now, then that will be too late. Because we know also from hearsaying, because when you go for data collection and also look for searching for materials, you meet so many people, and so many people will tell you so many different stories about how it was difficult for people locally, whether in India, whether in Nepal, whether in Sri Lanka, even in France, you know, that preserving the old manuscripts is very, very difficult. And also sometimes people even don't know the value of those manuscripts. They just simply throw. Whether even that has happened with the copper plate charts. You must be knowing in Sri Lanka, when you talk about inscriptions, there are also family inscriptions, and also some have been written on metals. So all these are very important for our cultural history, for our generally history. So, so that's why I say I will be repeating thanks to them, also thanks to you all for listening to us. Yeah, the archives considered here, they are situated in the Bishop's House of Jaffna. Yeah, let me not talk much about the conditions in which they have been preserved. You all know better than me. And also, only when you go and see the archives, you see how difficult it was. And also, whatever the way it was preserved, but it is preserved. So we should be thankful to the people representatives of the bishops of Jaffna. So coming to the number of different kind of things, archival, the manuscript consists of different types of documents: handwritten, bound records, diaries, journals, account books, loose letters, and some printed books. More than half of the documents are in French. The remaining documents are in Tamil, English, or Sinhala. So you get a multilingual and multicultural idea of what Sri Lanka was in those times, 17th, 18th, 19th century, and also how these documents would be useful to understand the cultural history of a multilingual, multi-religious country like Sri Lanka. For those who have not visited Bishop's house, this is just to say hello to the Bishop's house of Jaffna. Yeah, this is a very nice place. Yeah. Now, I don't know whether you'll be interested. Yeah, I have to say also something about how the photographs are being taken and how what are the technical details that are requested by the British Library to record the materials that we have digitized. So a description, when we come to the description of the collection, it's again a very difficult thing to describe and also classify the collection. I said only once you go through all the documents, then only you get a clear idea of how to classify them. Gérard and myself, we used to have a telephone conversation at least once in a week to say that there is a new kind of document, how to do that. And also on top of it, British Library, they have their own classificatory system, and you have to regularly check with that and also find out what are the what you call conditions, and also what are the type of classification advised by the British Library. And not only that, when you have some new kind of book or new kind of material, if that is not listed by the British Library, you can ask them and add that. So this is everything is done virtually. Everything is done by the computer. So you have a drop-down list. You choose one of the field of the document from the drop-down list. So chronologically, yeah, we need to talk about the chronology of this collection. There are three phases. First, yeah, we have discussed much about this collection, and Gérard knows better than me about this collection historically, and also he is much involved in reading these materials. So first phase, this is the period of the Portuguese Oratorian press. I don't know if you know any idea of the Catholic and Christian missionary system abroad. And this Oratorian priest is very important, and they have come from Goa to Ceylon. This is the first period. This period provides us with the oldest records of baptism in Tamil and Portuguese. So that's one thing. Second, this is considered as the main period of the French OMIS. OMIS, the Oblates of Mary Immaculate. Probably people who know who are from Jaffna, they must be knowing what is OMI. So we have already digitized many of the French memoir from the OMI archives. Third phase, the pre-independent period, when the clergy was deliberately indigenized. So before that period, the clergy were mostly, not mostly, were European origin. Only after this period, they started appointing clergies of Sri Lankan origin. Okay, so these are three important phases. Sorry. Yeah, I have some problems with the screen. This is just to give you some idea of the classification we have made. We have classified our documents into 14 different fields: letters, correspondences, sermons, registers, marriage and baptism registers, account books, attendance. It's very amazing. They used to keep attendance of the people who attend the mass and the confession sessions, the codex, aerarium, Tamil registers, and also documents of all sorts, appointments. You can even have an idea of what kind of people were appointed for what kind of clerical work and what were their social condition, all those things. And diaries, fascicules, they different kind of things which are written there, and reports by the missionaries to the superior hierarchy, and also printed documents in French, in English, and in Tamil. One thing I must say, those days, now we are used to very much used with the computer, and everything is done by the computers. But I don't know how those days this priests in missionary works taken down notes of everything. Very minute information can be seen in each and every field. When they talk about funding a school, they will talk about everything from A to Z, and you will have a clear idea of how things were done. And also sometimes being a researcher, that gave me many idea of how I should organize myself in research work, how they could have done this. It's very amazing. It's really great that they have done this. The picture you are having is this, I copied from the EAP, sorry, Endangered Archive Program website, and for our EAP 981 project, the second project, they have given this classification. So you can have an idea of how these documents are classified and how they should be classified. This is our team. Training is very important. I said most of the, not most, we have trained so far 9 members, 9 men and women, and you can see from the picture. This is the very first image. I never had any idea of how to train people for this kind of work, but I know that what I have to do, and also so we started this, as you can see from the picture. Simply the way by little mean we have in Alliance Française de Jaffna with the Gérard, we just try to do some pictures, and also the training program took for at least 3 weeks time. And you can see immediately this is the final setup. So I said there are technically many conditions that we have to respect before taking pictures. We have to buy a tripod, and also the camera should be fixed up, and lighting should be very perfect. No external light should come and disturb the image. And also we are taking remote control pictures. We are using sophisticated cameras. We are using software. What is that? Camera Control Pro, that's one software, and second software is Capture NXT. And when you take a picture, you should not take a compressed picture. The picture should be full size, and we have to take the picture in RAW and convert it to TIFF. So all this could be done only through software and also automatic methods. So the picture should not be deteriorated, what they call, there should not be blurred, that the picture should be very clear. So what we have to do, what we are advised to do, and what we are doing is that we do the photographs remotely, and in the computer we have fixed all the technical details. So to give you some idea, color should be 8-bit grayscale, and resolution should be 300 pixel, RGB, red, green, blue, 24-bit, and the format should be RAW, and we should never give any compressed picture. So these are some of the basic what you call technical details, and all these details are fed in the computer. So and normally for those who are accustomed to the photograph, either you change the aperture or the speed, but the aperture is set forever, because we need to have a clear kind of a picture. So the aperture is set forever. According to the type of image, only the speed will be changing. Or if you think that I have to change the what you call regulation, I can keep the one thing permanent and the other thing will be varying. But anyway, what have to be done, what would be the speed will be calculated by the computer, so that we don't have any problem in taking the pictures. Despite all this what you call kind of precautions, some pictures are not to the satisfaction, and so they used to ask us to take picture some pictures later on with the required technical what do you call technical details. So when you take pictures, that's why I said training is very important. Not that we take pictures like with the self what do you call cell camera, but this is very important. And once the picture is done, and again there are other issues. You see, this is very clearly made for taking photographs, or also very clearly made for taking pictures in what you call kind of preservation. There are lights, as you can see, there are so many lights, and these are LED lights, and there should not be any yellow color, there should not be any blue color coming from the light. All this maybe probably sound you difficult, but once you start working on this kind of projects, within 2 or 3 weeks you master all those technical issues. And this is again our team. When I say team, it's really a team. As I said, when you have manuscript to be preserved or digitized, the first thing is to clean them. So somebody will be cleaning the thing, and somebody will be looking for the kind of reading script system, whether it's in Tamil or in French or what kind of script. So we trained all people to do this, all this work. This picture is very important for me, because this shows you how we do it in a teamwork. Gérard is watching, and also myself is also watching, and there are 3 people who have we have trained for the first project. They have been working on that. The issue is that once I left Jaffna for 6-7 months, nobody will be with them, and they have to do the work on their own. So they should know everything very clearly. And also, whenever there are problems, they used to write us, or they used to call me, and I used to discuss with them on the phone to explain what kind of problem they face and also how to solve those problems. Here you have a small idea of picture, and as I said, there are so many rules and regulations to be followed when you digitize a document. The document should be digitized from one page of the first page to the last page. Even there are blank pages, you should digitize them. So these are basic rules that we have to follow. This is in Tamil. You see how visible it is. I don't know how many of you can read Tamil. And also this talks about the pest and other viral fevers that people are suffering those days. And the priest who wrote this document was praying to Jesus Christ to preserve people, help people from these diseases, deadly diseases. See, so this is how, even though sometimes the ink is very faded out. However, however illegible the original document is, you should reproduce it as it is. And also, just for this reason, they give you so many technical instructions to follow. That means the reproduction should be facsimile. The reproduction should be exactly like what it is in the original. Just to digress something, just for a few seconds. This text gives you some idea of the kind of disease we had those days in 19th century, malaria, and also how if you can if you read continuously the whole passage related to this patch, you will see how they faced this kind of health problems, and also how they took treatment, all those things. So again, this is again an interest of what they call social anthropology, sociology, and also general conditions. This is in French. Sorry. Yeah, I could not enlarge this, but anyway, this is simply to give you some idea of kind of work we have digitized. You see, this is one of the Tamil documents we digitized, and also we trained our team to read this kind of Tamil scripts. This is very difficult, but anyway, after reading some few pages, they were accustomed to do. This is also very important when you present the document, because every document, I will come to that, should be defined clearly. What is the content, what is the type, who wrote this, when, and all. So we cannot be there. Gérard and myself are not there all the time with them, so they have to manage on their own. But we will regularly check whether the work done was good or not, correct or not. So only at the time we will be with them. So most of the time we rely on our technical team to do the work properly. Yeah, this is the again another page. So you see the color scale here. This is very important. For each picture we take, there should be the color scale, and according to the color scale, the British Library EAP technicians will see whether the picture is good or not, and they are also having their own software to check the quality of the images. The end result is not digitizing for the sake of digitizing, but that should be read by people and also used by people. So when you take pictures, that's one thing, but when you start reading your pictures, and then only you feel how difficult it is if the picture is not of good quality. That gives you some idea of the kind of registers and also the kind of the situation, material situation in which they were left. So taking pictures, we have so many instructions, and also we have another hard work, I mean important work to do with each picture. That's what they call spreadsheet. Each spreadsheet will contain all details. So when you go for searching a document, you will not go and search in the picture, but you will go and search in the metadata, which are given separately by the EAP, Endangered Archive Program. So this metadata is extracted from the a spreadsheet. In the spreadsheet, there are so many columns. There are 52 columns, especially on the description of the project. So each column should be filled up. There are information about where comes from the document, who is the owner of the document, whether it's a private document or public document, what is the date, who wrote the document, and also who copied the document, whether it is printed, if it is printed, where it was printed, all those things should be there. So to give you an idea, there are 52 columns. Some are not mandatory, some are mandatory, but anyway, you have to give the size of the manuscript. Everything should be there, and script. Even there are different scripts. You have to name all the scripts. So as I told in the initial phase of my lecture, there are each information is fed in the computer. We have the spreadsheet, which is all kind of information which are already in the spreadsheet. You have to just choose the information that fit for your image. So taking picture is one thing, but giving a description of the pictures is another thing. Everything should be there. We have even we have to get permission from the owner of the archives, written permission, saying that they give permission to the Endangered Archive Program to make pictures of this archives manuscript, and also that will be public, and that will be public. So we should be very careful, and also naturally, thank God, we have not come across any personal archives. So if it is personal archives, then you have to get also permission from each member of the family, whether it should be photographed and whether it can be published on the website and all. So this is not an easy thing, simply to assure you that everything is calculated, everything is controlled, everything is done according to the rules and regulations of the British Library, Endangered Archive Program. Yeah, significance of some of the material, just to give you some idea. I don't know how much time is left. So I said we can classify the documents. We have to classify the documents according to some of the criteria given by the Endangered Archive Program. So you see that one of the documents, one of the classifications we opted, Gérard and myself, is that historical relations. This document constitute one of the major parts of the digitized materials. They contain diverse type of information such as memoir and all these things. They are destined to a general readership. So some documents are meant for written by the missionaries, to be read by the missionaries. Some were written to address to the what you call the superior hierarchies. So this way you can classify the thing, what is the content, to whom it is addressed. So sociolinguistically and also historically, when you have some document, it's very important to know right from the beginning who wrote, for whom and why. So in this way, we take much time to clarify and also to understand what's written, and also to whom it was written and why it was written. And historical relations. Second major document we have is letters. So unlike the above historical relations, the letters were written at the time of the fact. So yeah, usually when something happened, immediately somebody writes a letter. One of the local priests will be writing a letter to the superior hierarchy in Colombo or in some other place. And even sometimes you get letters written from Colombo and Jaffna to the Catholic missionaries in Rome. So immediately you get the date written, the time of the fact. So the testimony of the actuality. So you know, actually, for instance, 10th January 1871, what happened in Jaffna. So if at all you are interested, you can just also go through the date of the document and also see what it is and what happened. Account books is again very amazing in the sense so many minute details are given in the account books. For these account books are kept to what you call the accountancy purpose, and also inside the account books you get so many information from where comes the money, why the money is spent, and also what are the reasons, what are the expenditures, missions, churches, cathedral, daily accounts of the expenditures are different chapters like school, orphanage, and charity and all. So this gives you some idea of the what you call charitable work carried out by the missionary workers. And catalog, they are the records of all types of letters sent by the missionaries. This is simply a catalog, and in that catalog you will see information saying that today Father Bataillon sent a letter to regarding this. So this is also very important, and if you are interested to go and see what the letter was, you have to look for the original letters. sermons and commentaries. Contain preparatory copies for sermons. And this gives you some idea of the social linguistic situation historically, which was prevailing in those days. Most of the priests were French or Portuguese speakers, and the sermons used to be written in French or Portuguese. But in the margin, you will see some explanation in Tamil or in Sinhala. Technically, some of the words, terminology will be there. So if anybody is interested in the creation of Catholic terminology in Sinhalese and Tamil, you can go through these documents and have an idea of what was written. And also this gives you some idea of whether the priests in those days had learned our indigenous languages like Sinhala, Tamil or other things. So, any document as far as a researcher, I will say, is really interesting. It all depends on what you are looking for and how you are handled the information that are given in each book. And printed books, they consist of some biographies of some of the missionaries, and also draft and act on marriage and all. So so many different things, important things have been done those days by the Catholic missionaries. I'm not really praising the Catholic missionaries, but I just see as a researcher, and also I work very much on so many different kind of materials, historical materials, manuscripts, which are available in Tamil Nadu, inscriptions and other things. So I'm well placed to some extent, with so much modesty. I would say, when you write a document, what are the information that should be given in one such small manuscript or a printed book, or even in an account book? They have given so many details, and each detail can be of so much of interest and also importance to understand the organization of the society those days. So matrimonial, I think Gérard would give more explanation on these things, and also birth statistics. This record contains information on the members of the Diocese of Jaffna. This is very interesting statistics. You will see who were appointed and what were the social background of these people who were appointed and how they were appointed and all. And this gives also some clear idea of how people who converted into Christianism, when and how. Said what I have said so far. When you look carefully, we have to look carefully, being in charge of these projects. Carefully all the documents, even if you cannot read everything, we have to read carefully, diagonally, to have an idea, clear idea of what each document contain. So when you look carefully into the archives, I'm convinced, like many of my friends with whom I have discussed about this archives, and also with whom we have shared some of the pictures of this archive, we have a mass of unique primary source for the study of the cultural, social, and economic history of Sri Lanka. After the rediscovery of these manuscripts, we witness a growing interest among researchers, students, and common public to seek access to and use these materials for academic researchers as well as for personal interest. Yeah, some people, even if they are not interested in research, just they want to know their own history. Just they want to know how Jaffna was there in those days. So this way, this is very we are really blessed to have this kind of manuscripts, and also we are really blessed to have help from the endangered archive problem. To say something about the manuscripts. Manuscripts copies are really copies of some original documents. So people, those missionaries were thoughtful, and they knew that sometimes these manuscripts will be destroyed or spoiled. So even for some time, for some manuscripts, you see this is the third, fourth, fifth copy of the manuscript. So they made copies of the originals, copies of the copies. So you get so many copies of the same document. In some cases, the name of the original author of the document and also the name of the copyist were marked on the document. The same way we can find also the date and the creation of the original document and the date in which original was copied. So you get all necessary information in one manuscript, which are important for anybody who is doing research. Yeah, I think I have told that they are the unique source bearing testimony to the history of the people of Jaffna and northern half of the country, and to the history of Catholic missions in the pre-independent Sri Lanka. Yeah, pre-independent Sri Lanka, you get some idea of how the society was and how they try to create schools, how they try to divide the villages depending on so many different kind of criteria. That's very important. They are very important to understand the influence of the European, Portuguese, Dutch, and British colonial powers influence. Yeah, I think we will have time to discuss about these things. Yeah, one thing very important is that these documents were written locally by, as we say, grassroots actors. That means those who have seen things locally and those who have worked locally with the local people to develop or to create something. So these documents are really authentic. Nothing, to my sense, is exaggerated. They have written exactly what they have seen and they have written exactly what they have done. So that's why we feel that these documents are really essential to understand. They are not literary pieces to say something in eulogy or also praising somebody, no, not at all. They have just simply written the fact they have seen in the society. Yeah, probably these are some of the rare documents you have in Sri Lanka by the French missionaries, and also they show you to some extent how this French language and the French missionaries, mission étrangère, in India, in most of the countries of South Asia, were contributing to develop some kind of social changes or proselytism, as we say. But anyway, to my knowledge, these are very important documents to say that, okay, even though the French language is not very much used in this part of the country, those days, these French missionaries have contributed a lot to French language. I'm not saying this because I'm in France, but I'm saying it as a general researcher. Oh, yeah. What they contain is okay, but now you can see when you look into the manuscripts, they cover a wider geographical area, including Jaffna Peninsula, Mannar, Puttalam, Vanni, Anuradhapura, Balavate, and so many other different peninsulas, so many other different villages and also islands, even which are very difficult to reach. They have stayed in those places and also they have written everything they have seen, everything they have done. So they are mainly, as I have already told, in 6 languages. Most of them are in English, Latin, and Tamil, and also you get also Sinhala and Portuguese. I just showed you one Tamil document. Yeah, I think we can also find some documents in Sinhala, but some of them are mostly in prayer books. But only in the third project, we have more documents written in Sinhala language. Yeah, this I have told. I insist on this because we have been contacted by some researchers from United States and England to know more about this preservation and also how to access them. Anyway, most of them are in French and English. And I must say and also thank Gérard Robuchon for one of his initiative. Really grateful, a great initiative. He has contacted many of his friends who are trying to type these manuscripts to make available, because reading manuscript is very difficult, whether it's in Tamil or Sinhala or French. You should be able to, you should be trained to read them. So if you are not trained to read them, you cannot read them. So Dr. Robuchon has initiated this work. That's very important. I think that will be, yeah, that's being done by his friends benevolently. That will take some time, but the work is in progress. So we have digitized so far hundreds of files, and I think we have reached more than 150,000 pages digitized so far. And by the end of this project, if you could continue this work conveniently, because every time we get this corona, lockdown, all those problems. Otherwise, I think we will be reaching 200,000 pages, which will be ready by the end of 2022. That's the initial plan. Yeah, this digitized archives can be reached at the British Library Endangered Archive Program. I have given the link. If you are interested, you can go and see them. But anyway, they are worth seeing or worth visiting. Sometimes you get some important things, important information. The third project, so you get this ERP 700 is the first project. I said it was the pilot project which we started working on and understanding how to do things, that we did for 12 months. During this period, we trained 3 people, and EAP 981 is the second project. That's what they call major project. We had this project for 2 years, and the last one is in progress, and this is EAP 1222. I think this hopefully we plan to finish in the end of 2022. Yeah. I said I will be thanking often and often this Endangered Archive program, because not only that intellectually you are satisfied when you do this kind of works. Yeah, that's one thing. But anyway, preserving the old material is very important, because when you do research like me in old documents and also old inscriptions, you know how it's important to preserve them, and also you understand how it is important to know your history. So to know your history, you have to preserve your heritage, and how we are going to preserve it. So thanks to the Endangered Archive program, they give you money and also technical assistance to that work. We have trained 9 people so far, men and women, youngsters who were probably finished their schooling, and some they have done their specialization, computation and computer engineering and other things. But anyway, we have trained them techniques of preservation of endangered archives, methods of classification. So I told you, whenever you have an old book, you should be very careful. Now they know how to handle an old book. And techniques of preservation, reading old scripts, both Latin and Tamil alphabets, that we need some special training. Even though you are not going to live with this kind of training, maybe you are satisfied when you say that you can read one of the Catholic books written in Tamil in 18th century with those printed printing possibilities, which are wooden blocks. Only those who have seen those things will appreciate how difficult it is to read. So next, techniques of digital photography. Techniques of digital photography, I said it's not as simple as we do photographs with your hand camera. There are so many technical qualities which are must, and we have to follow them. So we have trained them to use sophisticated cameras, and also remote photography using computer and appropriate software, how to treat the photographs, how to convert the files, all those things. And And finally, classification of photographs and maintaining registers of photographs. Also, that's again another thing. Yeah, probably people who take photographs for the research purpose, when they don't classify them immediately, they will be losing the photographs. So these are some of the basic things we wanted to share with you. I think, yeah, some pictures. Once we finished this first project, we were received by the Monsignor Bishop of Jaffna. He was very interested by this project, and also he was very thankful to the team, and we presented the project to him. And you can see this is here. You see the Monsignor Bishop of Jaffna and Dr. Robuchon, and also another father. And finally, we have been doing so many conferences and lectures to spread what we are doing. And all these youngsters are members of the seminar of Jaffna, and they were also interested in this kind of work, and they wanted to do some research on Tamil manuscripts. So you see, this manuscript preservation is simply not for the sake of preserving, and also make things useful to people for our, because it's our heritage. I think I have finished. Yeah. Thanks to the organizers, Sri Lankan Association of Old Students in France, and also Colombo Alliance Française de Colombo organizers, and also again thanks to our friend Dr. Amunagama, who have been trying to organize this the last 1 or 2 years. But anyway, thanks also to the Corona, which made possible this long-awaited dream of our friend. Thanks to all of you. And if you have questions, Gérard and myself will be answering your questions. Thanks.
Yes, if you have any questions, now you're free to ask. So, Dr. Murugaiyan, we have a question in the chat box. Could you please clarify the French interest and influence at that period in Jaffna, which was not a French colony? Is the OMI entirely responsible for this French presence? So, if you have any idea. Please.
Yeah, that's, I think Gérard would be, Gérard, Kela?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. This is very interesting because, I will ask Gérard to answer this question, please.
Yes. In fact, the presence of the OMIs dates back from the 1850s till the independence. And afterwards, the last OMI father, French father, died in 1980.
The line is not clear. Deactivating the video may help.
Gérard, tu attends l'autre ordinateur? Tu as deux ordinateurs allumés?
And Sri Lanka was divided into the diocese of Jaffna, which was covering initially the north half of Sri Lanka. Wow. Non, il a qu'un seul.
Ah, ok.
Vous m'entendez?
Oui, maintenant ça va. On entend. Yeah,
il y a un orage dehors, c'est pour ça la ligne disconnecte aussi de temps à autre. Sri Lanka was divided between the Jaffna diocese, which was covering the northern half of the country, the Colombo diocese, and the Gold diocese, which was handed over to the Jesuits. Colombo and Jaffna were handed over to the OMIs. And the Jesuits among them. There were many French-speaking Jesuits, like Monseigneur Robuchon in the 1930s, for example. And the Jaffna diocese were going up to Dankotua, which means almost to Nigombo. It was covering initially, it was covering Anuradhapura included. So just to say a very few words complementary to those said by Murugaiyan, what the project will have covered, it's something like 250,000 pages. And almost half of these pages were written in French. As the last French-speaking died in 1980, there is nobody now to read these documents. So the importance of this project is that it will be made available worldwide. With a French text, and they did a transcript of already something like 5,000 pages in French. The next step would be to have them translated into English and later on in Tamil or Sinhala, of course, why not? So another point also is that the documents are very extremely fragile and cannot be manipulated with the hands anymore. It's self-dilapidating. And the photos, anyhow, the photos produced are much better than the originals. Also, the text. Okay, if you have any other question, please.
Mrs. Liyanage, is there any other question?
Yes, so we have a question from Ms. Dana Lakshmi. Can we know how many Tamil documents have been digitalized?
It's difficult to say. Only in the third project, we have probably some 50, 60 documents. In the initial stage, we have only very few documents, and some of them are letters written by the local parish priests. And as I told, only in the third phase, the officials, the priests were becoming, they appointed Sri Lankan and local people as priests. They started writing in Tamil. Probably by the end of the project, you will be able to say exactly how many documents are in Tamil. But anyway, there are so many prayer books, printed books, which are in Tamil. They are also of very interest and importance to the study of history of Tamil language in those days. I'm sorry, I'm not able to give you exactly the number. Gérard, you have any idea?
Yeah, I would say something like 1/3 of the documents, say 50,000 pages in Tamil, handwritten letters, sermons, and some printed documents, but many handwritten documents dating back from even 1744, the oldest Tamil document.
Well, okay. I think.
Yes, sir.
Thank
yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir. It's very interesting. So we got an information that about 50,000 documents are in Tamil right now, right, sir?
50,000 pages. Yeah.
Pages. Yeah,
pages,
right.
Have all been included in the library already, the catalog?
First two projects, I gave the web address EAP 700.
Yeah,
EAP,
I browsed them and I couldn't find many Tamil documents there. I'm wondering, my question is that have all been included in the library catalog, the ones that are digitized already, for Tamil particularly?
yeah, what all we have finished for these two projects are already in the website, on the EAP website. But what Dr. Robuchon told, 50,000 pages, most of them are part of the third project, which is still going on. That we have not yet finished. That will not be available right now on the website. Maybe in 2023, probably that will be available.
Hello, Dr. Murugaiyan. Hello.
Yeah, I listen to you. Please.
Can Dr. Rajashekharan Nair from India.
Yeah, please.
Can I speak now?
Yeah, please.
So, first of all, I should thank you for delivering such a wonderful talk. Really an excellent one. Congratulations for you and your team.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. You have said that the documents are mainly written in French, Tamil, and also English. My question here is, in one document, whether it is written in French and translated into Tamil and English, or one document is written in French in one portion, second portion is in Tamil, and some other portion will be in English. This is one question. Secondly, you have said about different types of varieties of documents, and you have not mentioned anything connected with the police documents or court documents or land documents. Even in Bishop's house, these possibilities may be there. The third one is that when you talk about the Tamil document, what kind of Tamil was used, whether it is Sri Lankan Tamil or Indian Tamil or spoken Tamil or written Tamil or Erpan Tamil or any kind of Tamil. Do you have an idea of these things?
I will answer your third question, and I will ask Dr. Robuchon to answer your first two questions. The language is local Tamil language. Tamil language, Sri Lankan Tamil, but refined Tamil language. If you want to see an example, இதுல பாருங்க, எங்கள் பேரிலே வருகிற இடுக்கு நெருக்கமெல்லாம் விசேஷமானவை சூரி கிடைகளும் குஷ்டரோகம் எங்கள் பேரிலே வராமலே காக்கவும் எங்கள் கர்த்தாவே ஆகிய இயேசு கிறிஸ்துவுக்காக எங்கள் பேரிலே இந்த பொல்லாத நோய் வராதே படிக்கு இருக்க செய்ய வேண்டும் என்று மன்றாடுகிறோம். So you can judge from this, but this is one example, and typically this is what you call Christian terminology. And I will ask Dr. Robuchon to answer your question. And there is one question from Gopinathan. I recognize you, Mr. Gopinathan. We went and visited your Nulagam Foundation last time when I was in Sri Lanka to get some help from your colleagues. Anyway, thanks. We will talk later. I will let Gérard to answer Dr. Nair's question.
Yes, please, could you repeat the second question?
Dr. Murugaiyan, please.
What is your second question, Rajashekharan?
Second question is whether it is written in French and then translated into Tamil and also English.
Yes.
Or all the three languages, one portion is in French, another portion in Tamil, and another in English, which is right?
Yes. No, as it concerns mainly letters and which are appearing in the third project more than ever, it's written in when it is written in French, there is no translation because it's a French priest who is writing to the bishop. And so there is no need of translating. If it is pastoral letters, usually it's written in Tamil. Written or printed in Tamil without the French translation. It is any sorts of memoirs or diaries, it will be written in French, the mother tongue of the priest or the mother tongue of the bishops. So it's not a bilingual command.
Okay. So my next question, which I asked earlier was, when you are explaining or telling about the different types of documents, is there any court records or land documents or police records there? Because the languages may be different.
Police reports or land reports?
Or court reports, high court.
Police report.
Legal, judicial documents.
Police or court reports, extremely few. Extremely few. It is some letters which were officially addressed to the bishop about any case. A few of them, but it will be in English, of course, the official language of the colonial period. And
land documents about land.
Land documents, no, it's all excluded from the project, and it was kept in a special room of the bishop's house, and we did not want to consider them.
Okay, thank you.
I think Mr. Gopinath Nathan has raised his question. Yeah, please.
Yeah, Vanakkam, thank you for the opportunity to talk. I have 4 points. First is to share some details. Second one, a request, the last two are questions. First of all, Dr. Murugaiyan and Gérard, thank you very much for your very detailed presentation. Your presentation gave a really in-depth idea of your project and what can be done in the future as well. So thank you very much for the support. Very interestingly, 7 different projects went on in Jaffna between 2015 and now. 2 of them were done by us. I led those 2 projects. They were to do the ASLAEF manuscripts, mainly in Jaffna, and we are also doing in Eastern Province now. And also Mark Bamford, who's also here in the meeting today, he led 2 projects to archive Protestant mission documents. So, and interestingly, the palm leaf manuscripts mostly have these Saiva or Hindu religious works. So in the last 5 years in Jaffna, we have collectively documented the Catholic mission, the Protestant mission, and also the local Hindu traditions. So to someone who's want to study not only Jaffna, but also about Sri Lanka, I think culturally as well as the religious history, we have covered a great amount of documentation, and the manuscript be digitized is around 130,000 pages and is still going on. So that's just one. Very interestingly, again, we have been all in Jaffna, but we have never met each other in person, I think. Mark, Balford, or you or me. But the corona have made it possible to meet us in Zoom meeting, you know. So that's just the details I wanted to share. And the request is that as we have a really great amount of archival material from the 17th, 18th, and 19th century Jaffna, especially from 3 different religions and all, whether we can work together in a collaborative research projects in the future, with Mark's team, your team, and the Nuraham and all, and whether we can come up with some solid research work. So that's something would be great if we can work together. That's a request. My questions are, first one, the Jaffna in 1995 had this displacement and the war went on and all those happened. So did any of the material kept by Bishop House, like something from 17th century to 20th century into the 80s, did they get any of them get destroyed because of the war period? Did that happen? That's my first question. Second question, you have mentioned about printed works. You have mentioned in depth about the written documents, journals, letters, and stuff like that. But printed work, what sort of material were there? Did they include books published by Bishop House? Or did they include the Catholic Guardian and such newspapers and any other newsletters as well? So those are my 2 questions. Thank you.
Gérard, can you answer? Gérard. Gérard, à toi.
Got disconnect.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he got disconnected.
Gérard,
Me?
no? They
Did you
disconnected.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are two questions for you.
Yes. Yes, okay. Can you repeat the questions? I was answering the
Sure.
last question first.
Yeah, sure, I can repeat. My first question is, these documents have been kept by Bishop for over 200 years. And in the
Yes.
late 80s and 90s, the war went on. There was some displacements, and the war happened around there as well. Did the war affect any of these collections? Did anything got destroyed because of the war, displacement, and that's the first question, Gérard.
Yes. In the displacement in 1995, fortunately, the bishop, the old bishop, the former bishop, and the several priests remain in Jaffna, and they protected personally, physically, they protected the manuscripts. So the manuscripts were not saccaged, and second, the manuscripts were not harmed by rainfall, for example. So we can consider that almost no manuscript has been destroyed during the war altogether. And the next question.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's very fortunate and very happy news that one is. The second question is Dr. Murugaiyan detailed in depth about the handwritten archival records. He also mentioned printed documents, but what sort of printed documents are they? Are they like books published by Bishop House? Any of the Catholic Guardian newspapers got digitized? Or are there a lot of printed documents there, or most of them are actually handwritten manuscripts?
Yes, the Catholic Guardian issues dating from the 1775, for example, till almost the independence have been destroyed by rainfall because they were not kept in the bishop's house. So unfortunately, we can't find all the issues of the Catholic Guardian. And the printed documents are mainly documents printed in Tamil, and it's mainly, above all, pastoral letters and circular letters printed in a limited number, one per priest, and bound together later on as a sample kept in the library of the bishop's house. But no, the books, the meditation books, sermon books are handwritten.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Is there any other question?
Yes, we have one last question from Mr. Gobala Krishna. I'm not sure about the name, sorry.
Yeah.
Up to the 18th century, the court of Kandy used Tamil to write the authorities of Pondicherry for help, but the relations ceased when the British occupied Pondicherry in August 1793. What about Jaffna Kingdom? So if Mr. Gobala Krishna can intervene, it would be clear.
Yeah, you can. Mr. Gopalakrishnan, you can speak.
Yes.
I think, yeah, please.
Yeah, first, good evening to everybody. And thank you very much, Mr. Professor Murugaiyan. It was really very, very interesting to know so many things about Jaffna and what they are having in the archives of the bishop. Okay. Now, I have a general question, of course, because I don't know exactly in detail. Are there other places in Jaffna where they have kept those documents, old documents, either in Tamil or in Sinhala or in Portuguese or in Dutch or in English? Thank you.
Yeah, the only, in Bishop's House of Jaffna, where we have all these documents that we are digitizing. And second place, in some of the, I think I don't remember the name, Atipatu, but that Gérard knows the place where they have kept all the documents by the Protestant missionaries. And also Mr. Gopinathan said they are also doing digitization, preserving work of many of the Hindu documents. So anyway, I must say that our interest was not because it is Catholic. My interest and Gérard simply because they are old documents. But it happens that in Sri Lanka, Jaffna, the three different religions are there and they have kept their own heritage, and we are trying to preserve them. And also, yeah, maybe Gérard knows better than me the situation in Jaffna. Gérard, tu peux ajouter quelque chose?
I can say I feel that it was very difficult to trace back the manuscripts after the burning of the Jaffna Library in 1981. And it's a chance that these documents were kept at the bishop's house. Now the thing is to try to record the places where manuscripts could be saved and preserved. And thanks to the British Library project, there is an opportunity first to preserve them definitely and to make them available worldwide. But it is a work which is in progress. That means the tracing of the places where the documents could be kept.
Thank you very much, both. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. And we have another question. Are you aware of any other researchers in Sri Lanka or abroad who have begun working on these monographs? Like, whether have they started any research work based on these archives?
To my knowledge, there were two members of the the seminary of Jaffna. They wanted to work on that, but I don't know whether they have started work. Probably Gérard must be knowing. But I know for sure two people, one from England and one from the United States, they are already working on these archives, digitized archives. Gérard, do you know anybody else working on this?
No. The person from England, of course, we refer, I believe, to the same person. Mm-hmm. And the difficulty is that people do not know French, and the person from England has to select the documents and have them translated. And the difficulty is that if we consider 2.5 lakhs of the documents, 1 lakh of documents are in French.
Right.
And need someone to know French. And the people in Jaffna do not know French anymore. First of all, the priest, except one, Father Chandran, do not know French anymore.
I must thank you, this Sri Lankan Association of Past Students in France, because you gave us this opportunity to make people know about this project, because many of them even don't know that we are doing work on this kind of preservation. On one side, Nulakam, Mr. Gopinathan is doing some great work, and also we heard about another professor from United States, Professor Valentine. He started working on Protestant documents, and we have been doing this work the last 5 years, except few people, not much of them know about this. So this is one of the major advantage of this kind of conference, that make people know about this availability of this kind of archives.
Right. So thank you very much. Now, as we don't have any more questions, let me deliver the word of thanks quickly. So first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Murugaiyan and Dr. Robuchon for this valuable, informative and detailed presentation on the historical records on Jaffna Bishop's House. We really appreciate your volunteer participation. And then we are honored to have the presence of His Excellency Eric Lavarture, the Ambassador of France and Sri Lanka and Maldives in this conference. Merci beaucoup, monsieur. And let me briefly thank everybody who helped to organize this event. Mr. Bruno Dupac, Director of Alliance Française de Kotte, Ms. Dilanti Jinendra Singh, Administrative Coordinator, for partnering with ASLAEF in organizing this event by providing their Zoom channel for free. and the Executive Committee of ASLAEF for bringing out this idea of organizing a virtual session and successfully executing it. Thanks a lot. Last but not the least, all the participants who joined online and stayed throughout enthusiastically, thank you for your presence. With that thanking note, let me conclude this session. Have a nice evening. Stay safe. Au revoir.